Hey, we're going to do something special with this chapter for Donnie Emerson and Nancy Sophia for their new single, Sister Oh Yeah. Here's a little preview of it, and then we're going to get into the interview. What's going on? This is City Chapters Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby J. Today's chapter is with Donnie and Nancy Sophia Emerson. Donnie and Nancy Sophia Emerson are professional musicians living in Spokane. The movie Dreamin Wild, directed by Bill Pohlad, released in 2022 at the 79th Venice International Film Festival. The movie centers around an album Donnie and his brother Joe made in 1979 titled Dreamin Wild. This movie features actors Casey Affleck as Donnie, Zooey Deschanel as Nancy, Sophia, and Walton Goggins as Joe, Donnie's brother, and Beau Bridges as Don Sr., their pops. And so if you haven't seen the movie, you should definitely check it out. It was filmed in Spokane and Fruitland, the real areas that they're from. It's a real awesome movie just about like sticking with your dream, and then, you know, if you stick with it long enough, you might see it come true. So here we are. I'm honored to have both of these people here.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you
Hi,
for
Bobby.
coming on the City Chapters Podcast.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, so I watched the movie the first time here recently at the Pavilion when you guys did the showing down there, and I watched it again last night just to refresh and be prepared for this interview.
Well, that's good.
But it's a
Wow.
great movie. Walton Goggins is one of my favorite actors. Like,
Yeah.
he just crushes everything he's in.
He
And
does.
Casey Affleck, obviously, very great actor as well. And Beau Bridges, I mean, come on, Jeff and Beau are like, those guys are legends. So
Yep.
it's really cool to see
It's a good
movie.
cast. It's a really good cast.
Yeah, it's loaded.
We
The
were-
cast is loaded.
We were
There's no
really
doubt about
happy
it.
to
Loaded.
see the cast. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can talk about that later. We're going to
Yeah.
talk here first and foremost about your new tour coming up, October West Coast Tour.
Yay.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Go for it.
What a crazy journey, man. We were supposed to be on tour in April,
Yep.
and then we had a well-known booking agency that was handling us, and we just had to pull back. We wanted to make sure that we were in the right size of rooms. Okay, we didn't want to go in and have an empty room, you know, even though it wasn't going to be empty. It's just that when you have a film that comes out like that, you want to make sure it's portrayed properly. So we pulled back in April, and then I says, well, gosh, I'm going to have to do something else. I mean, I can't just leave these fans hanging. We got people that want to see us, you know. So I decided to start myself, just making calls because I'm connected to a record label, and I called, you know, the clubs, and they all kind of, you know, they kind of know who I am.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, Donnie, you want to come and play? Donnie and Nancy, you want to come and play? And that's how it's kind of still.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. And but that's what we do. We don't stop. I mean,
Yeah.
we never stop, never have. I've been working with him for 39 years, almost 40. We've known each other so long, doing music together and being married, but never stop. So yeah, dreams come true if you wake up and work at it.
But sometimes, though, the
It's
dreams
true.
are kind of funky, though,
It's true.
because we all think, okay, dreams can be all great, but a lot of times they're how you perceive them. So, you got to embrace the hard work. And like this tour we're doing, I kind of keep telling a lot of younger guys and older guys too as well.
And women.
Yeah. Yes. I tell them, I said, if you're going to go on tour, you got to have the mindset of a 50-year-old and the tenacity and youthfulness of a 17-year-old. Because you got to embrace all the ups and downs. You got to embrace them, So we're going through lots of things even right now.
Yeah.
As we're going on this.
And it's a lot of energy to expend being on tour.
It is.
It is. It's a lot of mental.
Yeah.
Because we're being pulled right now, literally probably 14 different directions.
How many stops are on this tour for you guys?
It's not. The plays aren't. We're playing 5 locations, but we're doing a lot of in-stores.
We're doing concert venues, record stores, radio stations. So we're going to be in Seattle, from Seattle to Portland, San Francisco, LA, San Diego. But in between all those are a bunch of different cities, and then we're going to go through Arizona up to Utah for record stores. So we're actually going to be playing in record stores also. And right now we're still getting the names of the record stores. It's all in works right now because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, which I think happens a lot when you decide to put your toe in. You're going to put your foot in. If you want to put your foot in, you're going swimming. And we're going swimming.
Yeah.
And we love it.
Just gotta
we
embrace
would trade
it,
it for the world. And that's why we work together, because more than anything, they vote all the time, who's your best band, who's your favorite band, who's the best band, and people get votes for that, which is fine. But I always told Donnie and my friends, my fans, I don't want to be known as the best band. I want to be remembered for working hard. And they did an Inlander, the top 10 hardest workers, and there was Sam Eubanks, there was Darren Hildebrand. We were on there, and that's what's so important, is the working hard more than being the best. And so that's what we're doing right now. And so
it's pretty complicated because we've got a different crew in each city. So we come in and we do
for musicians,
we do a hardcore rehearsal.
Yeah.
We do a hardcore rehearsal with some of these studio guys. We go in, we rehearse for maybe 4 hours at the max.
With session
chart
players,
everything out, bam, and then we go do the show.
The night before the show.
It's that quick.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to bring players from our local area, but
which we do, and we have.
But on this particular tour, we couldn't do that because expense-wise and time constraints in between.
Yeah, it comes down to availability, expense, and Donnie and I are handling. We're doing all this ourselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, oh, you got the movie, man, that's got Hollywood backing you up and all your record label. It's him and I. We're doing all of it. And we've done tours for years. We've had the big tour bus, huge tour bus, through Nashville, all through United States. One minute we had a driver, next minute Donnie drove the big bus with the trailer in the back. He had to do it and then jump on stage. We were doing it all back then, but this is literally nothing new. It's if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Well, I mean, financing your own tour is
but we're at a budget. We're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, if we have to, literally, we've been doing this for so many years. We're not too picky as long as it's clean.
Well, that's the one thing.
The hotel and the bed's clean.
That's
but still.
But still, Bobby, you're absolutely right. Supporting a tour is very difficult. That's why you definitely
need
hire
the musicians.
You got to do it. That's why you need a label. You need a label. So important.
Sometimes you might have to hire the venue, right? I mean,
sometimes, but we don't. We don't.
Not the situation
we don't have to do that because we have a fan base of the Dreamin Wild side of stuff, which is awesome. But we're integrating our new stuff to that.
I was gonna ask what music is going to be integrated into this tour. Some of the Dreamin Wild, and then some of between the music that you two create.
Donnie and I have been writing songs for 39 years together. We wrote our first song when we were dating, and then we actually wrote our wedding song. So instead of saying wedding vows at the altar, we sang our wedding vows to each other with the acoustic guitar and sang our wedding vows. It was easier to remember. That's why we did it. And so we've been writing before we got married. Our first song, we're going to do that one on tour. It's called Like Never Before, very romantic. very sexy type of song. And then we're not going to do our wedding song because it's a little wedding.
That's for
yeah.
you guys.
But we did write a song for the movie. We wrote the original song for the film Dreamin Wild called When a Dream is Beautiful. And, you know, that's on the soundtrack. It's on YouTube. It's on people can
Did you
hear
literally write it for the movie?
We wrote it for the movie.
Okay, cool.
And it was actually, there's so many movies that are made. There's like, I don't want to be quoted, but there's thousands and thousands of movies every year being made. And then they narrow down, they submit songs of originals. And there were probably, I'm going to just guess, 350, 400 songs submitted, maybe more. And we were down to the 94, which was wonderful. So we saw it in all these different magazines at the top 94. And that was huge. That was this last year. And for the Oscars. So it's for the 2004 Oscars, down to 94. And then it goes down to, you know, the top, what is it, 5, 8. And we didn't make that list, but boy, to be on that 94 with the song 100? We wrote, it was huge. It was so huge. I mean, I felt like, okay, there's that dream, you know.
Is that the song you guys play at the end of the movie together when it transitions to both of you actually?
Yeah, and Dave
and
Dave Cobb was the music producer for this movie, and Dave Cobb did the Elvis movie that was in the theaters, and The Last Star Is Born. So he's and he works with Chris Stapleton. He writes. Guy's got Grammys after Grammys. We went to Nashville and recorded this at RCA. Studio A, which is a really nice legendary studio in Nashville. That's where we recorded this. And he's the music director and he's co-writer. He was gracious enough to let us have a lot of room because he knew that Donnie and I write together for almost 39 years. We're married. So he gave us a lot of space on that writing. But he produced that song. He wonderful man.
How did you both meet?
Him and I? Blind date. Blind date I turned down for real twice. I was asked to go on the third time by my best friend who was dating his best friend. And I said, nah, I don't go on blind dates. I was 20. I don't go on blind dates. I have to
You're from Spokane.
I'm from Los Angeles, Santa Monica, originally.
Okay, originally. But you were living up here
I was
at that
living.
time?
Yeah, and I just said no. And then she asked me again, my friend, a week later. And I said no. And then she asked me again. I was like, fine. If we go on a double date, easy peasy, simple. And he came to my apartment as a double date. The rest is history. We got married 11 and a half months later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was doing theater. My background is theater, musical theater. I was a dancer.
It was quite an interesting time. I look back on that time. It was so, I'm kind of a melancholy type of guy. And so I kind of reminisce about that time. It's like when I'm driving around at night by myself in my car thinking, I go, wow, that's where Nancy and I used to live. That's where we used to live.
Yeah, Maxwell and Monroe, right across the street from Hoffman. So I was living across the street from Hoffman, and he used to go to Hoffman.
Yeah.
So I probably saw him through my window 100 times.
Oh yeah, it's so cool, just looking back on it and everything, how everything just kind of metamorphosized and moved on, and now we're here, and now we're touring at this level, and having a film and all that, and it's just so kind of it's very surreal. I've said it before. Yeah.
But we've toured. A lot of people think this is our first tour, and they're really excited for us, which is it's cool because there's that innocence, and I love it because a lot of people are thinking, oh, this is your first tour. Dreams do come true at no matter what age. We've done the tours before. He went on a radio tour, 16 countries in Europe, and I caught for 6 weeks, and I caught the last.
What year was that?
97. Okay. And I caught the last 3 weeks because I was doing summer stock theater. So I met him in Switzerland, and it was go, these radio stations. So he did a radio tour. You learn so much, especially in other countries, how they go about it. It's amazing. Most of this has been an educational. We've done a DOD, Department of Defense tour together, Asia. We went, amazing.
And we toured here in the States, too. Yeah, we toured in the States, and at that time we had to finance our tours at that time as well. In 99. It was in 99.
Yeah, 99. That was a country tour. We were doing a kind of contemporary country because he writes beautiful country music. And then I wrote a couple for that tour, just for that tour. And we had fun doing it with the bands. So some guys from here, from Spokane.
What an education.
Went with us. Some guys from Nashville. Education.
I look at tour buses and I look at stuff like that because that's what we did. That's what we had. And I look at, oh my gosh, the overhead, that whole
diesel,
the overhead, the tour managers, all that, the logistics,
leaving a
the
musician
interviews.
at a gasoline station.
Oh my God!
And driving 25 miles before you realize.
And
but that was not our fault. That was not our fault. They used to have to, if you got off the bus, you put on your, remember?
Oh, your lanyard, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't put it back in, or well, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, he didn't put it back in the basket or something.
Or he did put it in the basket. He was supposed to take it.
That's what he
right.
did, yeah.
We had a road manager who said, put your laminate back in the basket.
That way if someone's going to the restroom, if you're at a rest stop, you know what I mean?
Because
we know who's on the bus, who's not.
Yeah, because these buses are big and they have a door in the back.
Seats 11.
Yeah.
That bus seat 11.
Yeah.
So.
And he had it there,
Easy to
and
leave
so we thought he was still in the.
It's crazy.
So
things happen.
Thank
in
goodness
life,
for cell phones.
I think I was talking to you too about this when I ran into you at Rosars,
Yeah.
which is what triggered this whole.
Which is my
podcast.
favorite spot to sit and just be by myself and eat. And it was cool seeing you there. And then Nance shows up, and then you show up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was walking in, and
yeah.
Nancy's like, Bobby, come talk to Donnie.
Bobby.
And
Yeah,
she
it was
thought I had met Donnie before,
Yeah, I
but
didn't
that was
meet
actually
you.
our first
Well,
time
Bobby
meeting.
works out, but I don't want to say where because then I give his personal life away.
Yeah.
And I try to be cool and give him his space. So, but at the grocery store,
You give space. I don't see that, Nance.
at the grocery store, I can bother you all I want.
No, I don't remember see that.
That was a cool day because we ended up talking for I think 3 hours.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
that's all. Only 3.
It could have been longer. It was at least 3.
Yeah,
was
because
awesome.
Yeah.
it's not uncommon. I mean, it's just the way we are both that way.
Well,
It's like
Bobby's
if I'll
cool.
meet somebody, I'll
You're
be sitting there
cool.
talking forever.
We talk that long if you're cool.
Yeah.
If you're not cool,
Most people run away from me though.
we'll only talk 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I had just, I think I was talking to you about this there though, that I had went to Tyler Childers' concert at the Gorge, and maybe it was somebody else, but I was, I had a backstage pass with my friend that serves coffee and juice out there to the artists and stuff.
Okay.
So I got to meet Tyler that day, and that was cool because I love Tyler Childers' music, and he was just a very humble dude. But beyond meeting him was just the fact of seeing what happens behind the stage at the Gorge and how many tour buses there were for these 3 bands that were playing.
Yeah.
Their management team, the different musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to been probably 30 tour buses there.
It's
it
neat to
seemed
see.
and
I love
It's
seeing
crazy.
that.
and all I'm thinking is how much money, you guys are talking about, how much it takes just for one tour bus, and then
Yeah.
to have 20, whatever it was, maybe it was 20, 30.
We
might
didn't
be a
own the
little
tour
extreme,
bus.
but-
It was leased. We didn't
well,
own
I
it.
think they did the same, but still, you're leasing.
Oh,
you're
it's
leasing
expensive.
Well, and it wasn't through. Donnie had started a record label with his father, his brother, his mother, his family. He started a record label, Malta Records. So again,
Malta.
Records. And again, that was us here in Spokane saying we're going on tour. He was saying we were going to fly. I said, I don't think so because they want to do so many interviews where we're going. It's nice to pull up in a bus. We get dressed in the bus. We eat in the bus. We rehearse in the bus. So you got to do everything. Rehearse. And people don't think about that. And I said, and we interview in the bus. Sure enough, that was used for everything from interviews to a couple of stalkers coming on the bus. And we had a dog who chased one off. It was hysterical. I was like, who are you? Our dog just dodges. I'm like, I love my dog. I'm glad we took it on tour with us. But it was a lease bus, very smart, because if you fly in, then you got to figure out rehearsal halls, running across town. But they like coming on the bus to interview because it's kind of fun. They're on the tour bus. So we rehearsed. I have photos of all the bands rehearsing on the bus. It was great, but we're not doing that this time. You want to interview, you got to get in our minivan.
We're doing it. I was just talking to who was I talking to today? I don't know. It was my publisher. I don't know. It was somebody. I was telling them. I says, we're doing this is just like ground level, man. Just as if we were out there, because we've learned so much that you got to get in that van, and you got to put the work in, and you got to go, and when you budget it out, you just look at it like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. We get there, we go do this. Eventually, it'll change. But as time grows, we'll just have to find that other hurdle and we'll move up again. It's just the way it works.
Yeah,
it's up
and we've
down,
done that where we took on the overhead with all the musicians, and we love all the musicians, that we've worked with in Spokane. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Right.
But it really hurt us financially because we kept them on, even when we weren't on the road. We kept paying for
retainers.
Them.
They had retainers.
Yeah, retainers for if we were here for 2 weeks, they were still on retainer.
Yeah.
And that money doesn't come out of nowhere. It came out of us and the family. And so, no regrets. Just, do we want to do the same thing twice? Heck no.
How long have you guys been planning?
I'd rather go
this tour
get ice cream right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
I'm just kidding because I am so much on ice cream. And when we were on tour, we had a guy who was like, "When do we stop for ice cream?" So I always crack up. That was Dave.
Oh yeah, David.
Yeah.
How much work and time has gone into doing this? Because you have a month before the tour starts?
Oh yeah.
A little less now, 2 weeks now.
Well, that's another thing. I was just talking to this other guy today. I said, we're basically the label. I mean, we have the knowledge, we know how to connect the dots. So, this prepping for this one probably took about close to 4.5 months?
Oh, longer.
5?
I think, yeah.
5, because there's so many dots you have to connect to.
What I meant.
Yeah, you get so many dots. I'm very fortunate that we've got Matt Sullivan at Light in the Attic that's got a really cool social media presence around the old stuff, as well as helping us with a national publicist. So that helps too, that's what you want.
And it's great. It's great because they said we're going to make a poster, and they're used to working with Donnie and Joe Emerson, not with me. They did during the movie because they took on the soundtrack. So with the soundtrack, I came along because I did the music in the movie. Donnie and I played the parts for the actors, not all of it, but a lot of it. We produced, engineered, arranged. There were more songs that did not get in the film that we did, but they had to cut a lot of stuff for certain reasons, especially to make that ending. So yeah, we're doing a lot of little things. But record, the label, Light in the Attic.
We're fortunate because we're connected to these underground vinyl stores, which makes it different for most young bands, because when you got 80 stores or so around the country, that handle the records, they know who we are to begin with. Plus, they know the radio stations that do the public broadcasting, like KEXP Seattle.
Yeah, we're doing that October 8th also. So
those things make a difference. So yeah, it's different now. It's taken so many years to have this come to us, but we've, it's just all part of the whole journey. And it's like, you got Light in the Attic, you got that, you got the, we got the record stores, and then the fans, the players that I'm playing with all know my music.
So what's cool? What's cool about
it's
this?
Awesome,
It's like,
but it's took a long time.
The old is matching up with the new, and Light in the Attic doesn't do that a lot.
They
really
don't.
work on a lot. They do reissues, but they're allowing. It's a good partnership. It really is. We're just really working well together, and they're being gracious. And I loved it because they started that poster that I'm doing our own social media. I do it on like 5 different sites. It used to be 6, but 5 different now, and. Light in the Attic started that poster, and then I kind of took over because they were adding different dates, and then Donnie got
KEXP.
Yeah, this is phenomenal because I'm like, when? He's like, the same day as our performance in Seattle.
Well,
like
all
the same day. So it's going to work out good.
Because some of the players are with some well-known bands. So they know our music from the past, and they say, hey, can we be the players on this gig?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So cool. so we intermingle with all these different players that have been in other bands. So
but that's what I was going to say with KXPX.
Yeah.
What's wonderful about that is we're doing the new stuff with the old stuff. So we're not just going in there and doing old stuff.
Yeah.
It's the new stuff.
Right.
And I think they expect it when they first talk to them. Oh, it's just the old stuff. But we always got to remind everybody.
Well, there was that struggle in the movie.
Very hard,
with having to go back and act like I'm this 17-year-old kid who I'm not no more.
Can't do it.
And so I think having that balance right really helps with you wanting to go on and do what you do now? Because it's like, I got new stuff, like you say in the
Right.
movie too, that he talked to Matt in the movie about that, like, and he's like, yeah, I want to hear it after the Showbox show. Which let's stay on tour. We can talk about the past later.
No, it's okay.
Bobby, are you going on tour with us?
I mean,
you want to be our bodyguard?
I do
you
have
work
a
out.
retainer, though.
You work out.
I do have a retainer.
Do you like
I
ice
might
cream?
do it, but this is my retainer.
I can play bodyguard. I can play manager. I can play.
We eat a lot of ice cream on the road. That's why I said I'd rather go to ice cream.
I can eat ice cream too, for
That's
sure.
where my money goes, towards all the
then
ice
you're
cream.
hired. You go on. Yeah.
In the movie, you guys play at Showbox for the lighting in the attic, right? Is the label.
Light in the attic.
Light in the attic.
And they
lighting,
have this,
that works.
Is it lightning?
I love it.
Well, lightning's good too
Lighting.
because
I said lighting, right?
they make things happen.
Go ahead,
They're a fantastic label. Yeah.
Light in the attic.
Lightning,
Yes.
lightning.
Light in the attic.
Either way, it's sparking up there.
Works. It works.
It's all good.
It works, Bobby. It's all good on that one.
Go ahead.
But you guys play at Showbox, and what was that experience like for you?
Do you want to?
Well, no, you go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, so basically, Donnie and Joe were approached to do that as a duo. Like in the film, it talks about that as a duo. Same thing. That was all accurate. And Donnie wasn't going to he wasn't feeling very comfortable. I don't want to speak for you. That's why I think you should. Because originally started with you.
Yeah, it's just, okay, so that experience of playing there, first of all, it's an awesome venue.
There were 1,500 people. Okay. It was sold out.
It's iconic. Everyone's
iconic.
Yeah, it really is iconic. And so I was looking forward to that. But the thing is, when you get a songs that people hear about you when you're like 16 years old, you're really kind of struggling with these two paradigms. It's just like you can't do what you really want to do, but you got to do some of the stuff to keep things going, So when I started playing with my brother, he was having a hard time. He was having a hard time playing with me, It's like, and I was probably having a hard time because I couldn't kind of sink into that vibe.
Well, yeah, Donnie wasn't playing with Joe and Joe wasn't playing with Donnie, but they got together for this event. It was a 10th anniversary. Yeah. So, listen, once he put the band together, Joe was gracious about it. He actually was looking, he was really fine.
Cool. He was
wonderful. Yeah. It just was something that everybody had to come to grips with. But I think what Donnie had more of an issue with wasn't the songs. Because he's very proud of those songs.
I'm proud of him. I really am. I really am proud of him.
Yeah, and him and I, through the years, he always did those songs. We did them in Las Vegas. We did them on the road. We still did them, but we did them with our own twists. A lot of times, just an acoustic guitar and some congas, which is not like the album he did in '79. So we were doing those songs. So more than anything, now Donnie's under the pressure of the album is getting sold from 1979, reissued in 2012. And now he's supposed to sound like that. So it wasn't the songs. It was 100% of, seriously, I'm going to speak for you on that. It was, when I say 100%, I might not be accurate, but it was the pressure of making the songs sound like they did on that recording. And that was so scary for him. And that's where the pressure came in. And I saw it in his eyes. I saw it in his face. And that's why I love that scene in the movie. It's so accurate on certain things. It was a lot of pressure, but once we were on that stage, he did.
I gotta say something.
He heard certain things he wasn't liking on that stage.
I was talking.
And you see that in the movie.
I gotta say something to you, Nancy, because I didn't have to tell you this because before we got here, I didn't want to get us off whatever topic here and everything. But I called Casey today just to say hi, to say hi to him. Okay, and he picks right up. He says, "How's Nancy doing? And he says, "Well, we're getting ready to go on tour." And he was really happy for us, And
Casey Affleck.
Yes.
Because I don't know if the listeners are going to.
Yeah.
Not Casey and the Sunshine Band.
No, not Casey and the Sunshine
Band. Okay, I just want to make sure.
But we got talking about the paradigm.
Because I'm a Casey and the Sunshine Band fan too.
Yeah, about the paradigm. The still the struggle, the struggle of dealing with these two different time periods. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
But he says, "Well, man, you just got to embrace it. You just got to embrace it and just expose who you guys are now,
And the thing, he came
you
to see
know,
us in L.A. We did a
and,
show in L.A.
You know, so
in L.A. and he came and saw this show, and he was such a supporter through this whole thing. So I mean, that I get off stage and there he was.
I wanted. We were rushing to get here, and I wanted to tell her, but because I don't get a hold of him that much. I really don't. But he was on my mind, so I thought I just called him, you know, just to say hello, and he was so happy, you know. And we just talking about that whole issue, you know, just the whole thing, you know. But
wait, he went through it. Listen, this script that came out, it wasn't the original script. They gave us the original, and we said, you have to make some changes because we're continually going on all the time of doing music. Once you guys are done with this movie.
Oh, my hand? She doesn't like this.
It's like a spider. Anyway, once this movie is done for them, we're still going on the road. We still have our friends, our family, our fans. So it can't paint us out to be something we're not. And I said, you can't do this. And so I had a meeting over the phone with the producers, the writer, the director. So we had to massage this a while. And Casey, he was there from the beginning saying, I'm not doing this unless you guys are happy. I'm not taking this role of playing Donnie unless you're happy. He came to our house over and over. He would call, he would text. We look out our window and there's headlights and it's Casey Affleck out of nowhere because we're thinking he's in Los Angeles or somewhere else. It's Casey Affleck in our driveway in Spokane, Washington. He was always checking, where are you guys texting? Where are you guys? What are you doing? Because he wanted us to be really satisfied, or he was not going to take this role. That was his number one concern. He honored it so well.
That's really cool.
Oh, huge. So we do have a bond with him that is really cool because of that. He was very respectful. Unlike I never expected that.
Yeah.
From anybody. You know, let alone a total stranger we've never met before. And so he spent almost a year, give and take, between Zoom calls, texting, coming to our house. He stayed the night at our house. Unbelievable to get to know who he was playing and if he wanted to do that. And that's why he would catch us off guard. He never said it, but I knew it because I'm an actress. My background is acting and theater and dancing. I knew what he was doing. He was slowly becoming Donnie. He'd walk in our house. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, ugh. He's doing dishes. He's opening the refrigerator. He's making salads. He's sitting in our living room floor. He's saying, hey, where can I stay? What? You know, so there's a glamping tent on the side of our house. He stayed in the tent one night. And amazing because he was trying to get to know Donnie Emerson. And that's why people need to see this movie because there's so many people that are in this film, that worked on this film locally, that worked so hard putting this whole story together. It wasn't just about us. It's about people in Hunters, Fruitland, extras from this town, catering to props. Amazing amount of work that went behind this film locally. That's why I'm glad they showed it at the Pavilion. Yeah. Because it's about a lot of people here locally. And people don't realize that. They think, oh, it's just another movie that came through. No, it gave jobs to a lot of people.
A lot of commerce came in.
A lot of good people here worked on it too. Yeah. Besides L.A., they came from different places, of course. Yeah. You know, so actors.
So I don't know how I got on that. Probably because I said,
I just crack up because he knows I'm a Casey and the Sunshine Band. And so like Casey.
Well, I don't call
We're
him
about
up.
The struggle.
Yeah, it's weird. I just find it weird.
Conflict of past music to now, which I mean, I think there's a lot of people that probably can have some kind of relation to that in certain aspects of their life. Like, there's always gonna be like this time when you were younger and the conflict of where you are now and like reminiscing in times, but also like you can't live in the past.
Yeah, you can't.
Like that conflict of your past trying to overshadow your present would be difficult to take in. And now it's like, well, I've been working for 30 years since then and nobody wants to maybe recognize that fact or whatever that plays into. I'm sure there's more dynamics in that, but you know, yeah, that's difficult. But I like in the movie when Matt says to you, well, maybe you should just try enjoying it, you know, or I think he says enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are talking
and
after
it's
a
so
late
true.
night of time.
It's so true. I struggle with it. So, you know, I try, you know. I think that's why I want to work with other artists.
Yeah.
I want to do that because I'm working with a guy right now, Nate Ostrander. I just love Nate. He's such a sweet guy. And it's just cool to kind of give your thoughts and what you might be able to help them with, and so you're not going to be perfect because everybody's journey is different,
right?
But I really enjoy that.
Well, in Donnie, the music he's doing is not just what he's doing for himself. Other artists have approached him, and can I say names? I mean,
I don't care.
Okay, he's had John Legend,
Yeah.
use one of his melodies, and I won't get into everything because it's a lot of.
Yeah.
But Little Yachty, he's on the phone with Little Yachty, and the whole thing. Little Yachty has the whole respect for him, and kind of was just loved the Dreamin Wild album, and that he's got commercials nationwide, worldwide, amazing things that are happening, but they've always happened. And it's because he never stops. He never stops. Donnie is 99% business, gets everything going. We both do. We're 99% get going. 1% we're on stage. We will work 99% of all the back stuff, from loading our equipment, rehearsing. I mean, we have meetings every day, a cup of coffee meetings.
Seriously.
Every day.
Yeah. It's clockwork.
It is up and down with the
About 2
emotions, especially being married together. And then we're on stage, and the show's like an hour long, an hour and a half, 45 minutes, depending on what we're doing. I'm like, we're done?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, you're done. Next band coming on, or we're closed. And we're like, we can't be done. Please tell me we're not done.
I know,
because
it's like we're just getting started here,
it
guys.
took us hours and weeks and months to get here, and we're done. So that's why I think we never stop, because I never feel like we're done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that's why I enjoy doing it with other guys, other artists, because they're going through this journey, and some of it's new to them, and I'm just kind of sitting back. Okay, I did that.
Oh, Ariel Pink. I've got to mention. If I don't mention
Pink.
Ariel Pink, Ariel Pink has been phenomenal. Dame Funk, they did a remake of Baby. I mean, Ariel Pink was so respectful to him.
And now we're doing
So
something else right
respectful.
now that's coming up. I'm actually kind of going to be doing something with what's the gentleman's name? I think. Gosh, I should know it right off the top of my. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me, but. He's pretty current. He's a pretty current guy, and the production is really well done. I'm really excited about it. Well, I'll kind of maybe say it if I can get it in my head. I probably will be able to get it, but I don't know how did I get off the topic?
I don't know. I tell you, we're going I said this in the beginning. We're going 14 different directions. Now do the spider.
I'll do that.
See spider.
Yeah. So.
We've had
Sorry,
interviews.
Bobby.
No, we've had
all good.
audio
Sorry.
interviews where you
That's
just
good.
hear this.
You guys
Sorry.
are giving a lot of good information.
I kind of go through crazy things in my life. I mean, we're here in Spokane, and I'm proud of some of the guys in this town. I really
Absolutely.
am. I'm really proud of them. I'm proud of Blake. I'm proud of Tristan. These are guys
Nate.
that have Nate.
Oh.
I'm proud of these
Yeah.
guys. I mean, they make me happy when I see them making
Blake
it
Braley.
happen. Yeah.
Tristan, what's Tristan's last name? I don't.
Pierce.
Tristan Pierce. He plays a mean guitar.
He just
Oh my
played
goodness.
what he does
Yeah.
is what he does. He
Yeah.
plays the right stuff.
Yeah. I've seen him play with Alan Stone.
He plays the
and
right
Blake
stuff.
and
Yeah.
He never
Blake
that
Braley.
character. He's just so yeah, and
And he has
Who
a
was
good
the
heart
third
too.
person
He's got a
you
good
mentioned?
He's got a good heart too.
Nate
That's so
Ostrander.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is his last name?
Ostrander.
Ostrander.
Yeah, and he's
good.
He's very good.
He
and-
just got off
and
tour. He was at the pavilion. He was sitting
And I
in the
think-
Q&A spot.
I
He was
think-
right up front. He's awesome.
Might
Well, the thing is,
recognize him if I've seen him.
Nate has just got he's just a wonderful person, and I think that's what's going to really make things happen for him, because he just really tries hard. Yeah.
Yeah. And Donnie just produced his album.
Well, we're doing a couple singles right now. I didn't want to get too wrapped up in it just because I got other things I'm doing. So, but we're playing it by ear as we go, and
Do you record at your home or do you
different places.
different places?
wherever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
During the
Yeah.
movie, it was really funny because This is Hollywood. They are used to doing a lot of stuff with the actors and their way. We're used to doing recordings and stuff. And like I said, I have background in theater, but that's different than films. And I've done some film stuff too, but mostly theater. But when it comes to the recording studio, especially with Donnie and I, you got to leave us alone. You have got to leave us alone, because not only are we musicians under the emotions of doing music, we're a married couple. So everybody wanted to be there with their little clipboards and their, looking at us as actors, and we're like, So we actually took the phone off the hook for almost 2 days, rented a recording studio ourselves because they were going to pay for it. But we didn't want them to know we were going to be, because we can't record, because a lot of times they're like, that sounds good. You did good. And we're like, no, that take's not good enough. Oh, you're being too picky. We're not picky. We're professional. And we're not representing us right now. We're representing you, representing us. Huge. And I had to say that to Casey, because he was in our recording studio with his girlfriend and Noah Jupe. Unbelievable actor, Noah Jupe. I've seen him for years. We all have for years.
He played young Donnie, right?
And he was 16, and he was in the studio. He just flew in from the UK. And I'm staring at him as I'm laying down these tracks for the movie, and I'm looking at Noah, who's right next to me. Casey's right next to me. We're in this small little area, Casey's girlfriend. And they're like, okay, you're done. Yeah, let's go and eat. And I'm like, we're not done. I have to do another track. Oh, you're being picky. I'm not being picky. I'm being professional, representing you, representing us. Help me, help you, help me, help you, help me. So it's amazing, because it was a learning thing for them. And Noah was only 16. And this is the first time he learned to play guitar and sing. This was really? If you look up that guy now, he's 18 now. He has been a child actor for years. Noah Jupe. You could see all this stuff. The Silent Place.
And Jack, too. Jack.
Is it Quiet Place? Or is that?
Huh?
I'm spacing.
Quiet Place.
I apologize. So many movies, so little time.
Benjamin, he's in that thing with Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah,
I mean, it's just,
we could go on and on,
man.
but the kid was 16. He comes here. He learned to play guitar. He learned to sing, to play Donnie Emerson. We so appreciate it. He's such a serious actor, but he's funny. He hung out with our kids, Alvea and our son, for 2 months. They went scootering, movies. The kid's 16 years old, from the UK in Spokane, Washington. Doesn't know anybody. Same as Jack Glazer.
Yeah, Jack Grazer, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack Dylan Grazer. Yeah.
These kids put a lot behind playing the part of Donnie and Joe, which we're so thankful for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Where do you two think you developed this mentality of being able to work so hard?
My parents.
Your parents.
My mom and
you grew up on a farm, Donnie, so I imagine that instilled a lot of that work ethic for you.
Yeah, I think making it on your own and just do it on it, you have nobody else that's going to help you out there on the farm that much. I mean, you're going to have to learn how to fix the equipment. You're going to have to learn how to get out there, and you got to be disciplined within yourself. And when you have a father and mother disciplines you, you got to get out there to milk the cows in the morning, because that milk we need, that's going to help us to live, or those chickens, or those we're going to feed those cows out there, or you're going to bale that hay, you're going to, all this, it's supporting us. And so I think that's where it kind of stemmed from, I think. And then we had a logging business too at the same time. So it was two different types of work going on at once. Yeah.
And I think that's why we stuck around with each other when we were dating, because he saw I was living on my own since I was 17, so I didn't have a choice. I was still in high school when I got my apartment, and I came from a stepfather since I was 2.5, and my mother of 7 children. They worked so hard, and we weren't. That's the way we were raised. It wasn't like, here, you're going to have this. You're going to work for this. You're going to buy it yourself. So I don't think I had a choice. It was just, you wake up, you breathe, you work. You wake up, you breathe, you work. And everything comes to you if you work hard. I mean, right? I think. Did I say that right?
I think
I understand what you're saying.
Well, yeah, it's.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just natural for me. I've had a job since I was 14. Wendy's at 15. I
started my first
in
job.
Las Vegas. Yeah, my first, like I say, my 15th birthday was my first day at Wendy's in Las Vegas. Yep. I was getting those Frosties served to people, eat a little, got in trouble.
Did you?
I got in trouble.
Yeah.
Manager was like, "You're going to pay for that." I was like, "I don't care."
I got to eat my ice cream.
Then I went from Wendy's to Dairy Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Ate some more
right,
ice
Dairy
cream.
Queen. Dairy Queen.
Ate some more ice cream.
You give that story away, man.
But I didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gots to have my ice cream. Did I mention that already?
Goes way back, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she goes back.
The ice cream.
Oh. Don't get me started.
I know. So.
This is a fun interview.
Yeah.
I could talk all night. No, I'm kidding.
So you have a new single coming out.
It is out.
Oh,
It
it's
is
out
out.
already? Okay. So
It came out
Sister, oh yeah.
September 11th. It came out, and which was amazing because that's the day that everybody, is remembering for good. I mean, it's amazing. September 11th comes around. I don't think you know what September 11th is going to remind you of, and so it was a weird day because I wake up,
Yeah, you're kind of somber.
Yeah,
You're somber.
New York City, and then all of a sudden we're told our song's going to be released that day, and it gets released that day from Light in the Attic, and so it was a melancholy kind of day. You want to celebrate, but yet, So yeah, so it's been out since September 11th, and I'm glad. I'm proud that it came out on that date.
And that's an interesting recording too, because that's a live thing we're doing, and I've struggled with that my whole entire life. People have told me, "Oh, when are you going to release something?" Well, I've released quite a few albums, but I've always came to this crossroads of, oh God, this is not good enough. Okay, this is not good enough. Oh, this is not good enough. It's got to sound like this. Oh, it's got to sound like that. And we went down there and did this show down there in L.A.
At Gold
Diggers, and I met this guitar player, Johnny Nixon, and guitar player that's playing with us on this thing. And I just got to tell you, I just fell in love with the way he played, and Graham too, all the guys, the two other guys,
Aaron's playing
bass, and Grammy and everything, and I just had this complete connection with this guitar player. I was just like, and Graham too as well, because he really kind of plays kind of like my brother actually kind of played. This was really cool. So anyways, it just inspired me to do a live thing. I said, "Yes, we got to do this live. It's got to come out." And then and so it was a lot of work we had to make that happen.
Okay, Donnie wrote that song when he was 19. So he wrote that about in 81. And then I met him, and we've been performing it for like 39 years. We started recording it 4 different times. I'm counting 3-4 different times, seriously. And every time I was like, "Yeah, my congas, yeah." And he's like, I don't know, I wasn't happy with, not my congas per se. It was just he wasn't happy with this or that, the equipment he was using, the mix, just everything. He was never really quite satisfied. So then we tried a few years later. He didn't like this, the drummer, this or that, and so,
or even me.
He just said he just one
the things
day
I do in it,
stuff he was doing.
I screw everything all up,
Yeah, and then he just finally said, "If I've waited 20 years, if I have to wait another 20 years, I will." And I was like, "Ha ha ha!" But he was serious. And then I would he would send me the track, and I'd be like, "It's done." And then 5 years would go by. I'm like, that track you sent me. So this has been the ongoing where I knew this song was the one he should release. I said, "This is such a good one. I didn't write it, but I've been a part of it." So finally, when we went to Gold Diggers, they recorded that show live. And so he took the tracks, there's individual tracks, and then he had to go in the studio and do what he has to do with mixing and mastering. And that's why when it did get released on September 11th, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, I had to pinch myself. Is this really?
Well, I know it's kind of hard.
Did this really happen? Imagine 39 years.
And I wanted the feel that she would like, because she's playing all the way through it, all the singing and the
I'm singing
percussion
harmony.
And all the congas and all the all that stuff, and there's just something about a live recording that, to me, it's not stale.
And that was an important event. I have to give you a little back. When people do hear it, that was a night we were promoting a film So it was promoting the film. So there was so much going on. Casey was there. Ariel Pink was there. We had Roadside.
William Morris, BMI.
Roadside Attractions. I mean, it was.
ASCAP was there, but
there were so many people there that we should have been under so much pressure. A brother of mine was there that I hadn't seen for 18 years, right up front. A part of Light in the Attic was there. There was so much pressure, and then fans. And then people who weren't fans, and they got probably a couple of free tickets, and they were like, hey. But there was such a mixture of what was happening in that room. And at the same time, we're being recorded. And that was the night of my 40th class reunion. So I was kind of melancholy and a little sad. As I'm on that stage, I'm thinking of all my best friends in Spokane, Washington, North Central, class of 83, that I wasn't at. So I wanted to cry during some of this recording. So a lot of emotions are behind this. And he kept saying, we got to record live. And I said, no, for years. I said, I don't want to record live. I am so grateful we did, because when I hear this, all of that was there. All of those people were there. And there's a lot of energy in that song that's not just coming from us. It's all the people that were in that room. And does that make sense to you?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is not about us.
Got a lot more depth to it than you just being in the studio. There's a whole moment that happens.
It is not about us. I am telling you, it's about the bartender that was doing great drinks that night. I'm telling you.
It's just everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was drinking water because I'm having to do my thing, but
I think that's what's kind of missing too in music. Now, it's so contrite. When you listen to it, it's like, okay, here comes the verse, here comes the chorus, here's the outtake, boom de boom boom, the same darn thing. I mean, I'm not knocking it in a way. I'm just saying that's why I love live, because live is just, it's like, okay, we're getting to a point in time where if you can't deliver it on stage, you probably shouldn't be in the business. If you can't deliver it, if you gotta just do your thing and you can't make it happen, then what the heck? I mean, the whole journey and the joy of it is to be able to play, even in your flaws, you know. And I think that's why I like this recording. I think I'm hoping that people will like that the way that it's done, because I think
and the thing is, we're in a generation for years now that there's so many phones and cameras on you. So you could go in the studio and touch it all up all you want, but someone's got the phone right on you. They're still recording it and they're putting it on YouTube. Like we were on stage during Baby. We did Baby that night, which was one of his songs. We didn't put that on YouTube. Somebody had their phone on the side of the camera, and you can hear somebody singing. And they're, it's a little off on the harmony or something, and that wasn't me. That was somebody else. But there's somebody off camera. But I loved it because they're singing along with it. So someone's always filming you. So you better be able to deliver it live. It's true. It's true.
It's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It reminds me of Peter Frampton live.
Yeah.
Have you Have you guys seen Helmer Noel play yet? You heard of him yet?
I've heard of him.
He is a local musician.
Yes, I've heard of him.
Now from Spokane. He was from Texas originally, living here now. You should definitely go see him. When you can. He can sing like nobody's business. It's insane.
Wow.
Like listening to his music on a record in the car is great.
Right.
Has nothing on seeing him live.
Seriously.
Wow.
He makes a recording sound like. See, that's okay. Like that's cool. It's very good. But I'm just saying, the comparison level of his live performance is so amazing. Like,
where'd you see him play it?
He just played at Volume. I've seen him play actually at the Pavilion when they did the. Oh wait, I think you did see him perform.
I don't know.
At the Spokane Talent Show, he was the last act.
Oh, was he the guy that was singing?
Is he the one that won?
Yeah.
The one that won?
He won.
Oh, yeah. Well, Donnie was one of the judges on that. Good job, Donnie.
I just couldn't remember names, but
I
mean, I couldn't deny it. You can't.
I watched
he wrote that song, too.
I was there. I watched you give him.
Yeah.
And that gentleman wrote that song, too.
Yeah.
Which everybody really liked that.
Yeah.
He's a songwriter, but singers.
Yeah. And I think that's another point we're trying to make, is that live thing is like the cream rising to the top.
Yeah.
You can't stop the cream from rising to the top if you got enough volume.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, he kicked it, man. He kicked it there. There was no doubt. I looked it over, and I was looking over at Charlie, the other judge, and I said, okay.
Well, what was great, it was an original song, and the thing is, Donnie being a judge, he was a little bit more, I don't want to speak for you, but if you're going to do an original song, you just got Donnie.
Yeah.
You could do a cover tune, and that's fine. But I knew it. When I was in the audience watching, I'm like, oh, I knew it.
know.
And when that guy said he had written that song, I was like, okay, and I could tell the audience really respect it because it was a good song.
Because he's an artist.
He blows people away.
He's an artist.
Any place he gets in, and if anybody hears him sing, like, they're gonna walk
Now that's
away,
the type of guy I would love to kind of get connected
That's
to,
what I'm
and
saying.
maybe do some producing with, because those are kind of the people that I like, because they can deliver it. They can deliver it. I put a shout out to a friend of mine, Lucas Brown. Okay, because I love Lucas. Okay, I love Lucas, and in fact, he's my guy. I mean,
good.
I mean, I can't wait till I start playing with him. I mean, we've been talking about some stuff, just him and I and Nance together, and that guy is like, I don't know, man. He's special.
Well, he works hard. He works hard.
Yeah.
He's a very special person.
I remember during COVID, he was putting out videos left and right of him singing and playing, and I would watch and I'd be like, Lucas, you never stop working. I mean, you're entertaining still. He was one of the first ones I saw really put videos out there. And then all of a sudden, a lot more people started doing it because they realized how long this really was.
I don't even know how many bands Lucas is in. I mean, it's a lot.
He's in a lot. He
was like in like every stage at Volume. I'd go from one stage to the other. I'm like,
that's awesome.
How did Lucas get from that stage to this stage before me?
And he promoted. Let me tell you.
What's going on, man?
He promoted the heck out of that, and I kept hitting like all these hearts.
But he was, give a shout out to him, man, because I just
that's his amp on the poster. I think I told you the amp on the Dreamin Wild movie. That's Lucas's amp behind Noah Jupe, and Lucas was so proud. He would put on my social media, "That's my amp." He was so proud. I'm like, it is.
That's cool.
No,
That's
he's
awesome.
just he's a special player. He's a special guy.
Yeah, he does a lot for the music scene here.
He does,
and he's cool, and he looks cool. That's the thing. He has the whole package going.
Yeah, he does. That's just, we were thought about he was going to go with us, but logistically and we talked about this earlier. Right. It just didn't pan out. But I tell you what, I think there's going to be things in the future because he just got a vibe, man. He just can do it. So yeah, and people love working with him. Like I said, he's in I don't know how many bands. Yeah, supporting them, helping them, and then doing his own thing too. Yep. And I mean, those guys are always playing somewhere. I know.
So they always are staying active all year round, which is great. I mean, him and kind of his, crew of bands and stuff, they really definitely help push the music scene here. Without them, I mean, it'd be pretty rough. Probably.
It'd be pretty rough. And I got a shout out to the mayor too. Yeah. Lisa Brown. She was the one that kind of really helped to get that film come here to Spokane and Fruitland and all over. She helped with that. So that was really nice of her to step up to the plate to do work with Bill Pohlad on that as well. That was really good. And she wasn't the mayor at the time, but she knew how to make all that other kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, that's Lucas's mom.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's cool that she really, supports him and supported that film being made here. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, to me, that film being made here is it's a legendary thing. This is legacy being built. That's my viewpoint. We talked about this at Rosars. There's not very many musicians in general that get movies made about them, right? I mean, there's the very, very high-end, legendary people. Of course, there's movies made about them, but like in general, even being in that, there's still amazing, great bands that have existed, like huge bands that have existed, never had a film made about them. And, you know, you both have had a film made about your life, and that is amazing. And it was like stayed true to being made in Spokane, in Fruitland. The actual recording studio that you guys made, like there was filming in that, correct,
you see,
right? It was
well,
all in there,
this is
right?
amazing.
So,
The outside, and I hope people that are listening to this podcast do see the film, because it's, when you get the backstory, to me that's pretty entertaining, but the film is worthy even if you don't get the backstory. Again, because a lot of people could connect to this film. And if you don't connect, it's still entertaining to watch. But the recording studio, they show outside. They will show the recording studio from the outside in the opening scene, and they show it different times too. That's the real recording studio in Fruitland, Washington,
right, yeah.
Right outside Hunter's. But then the inside, because they didn't have a lot of room, they have to bring in cameras, and they destroy a lot of stuff because they have to walk through with their equipment and all these people. So they actually spent, and I know the amount. It is huge. They remade that studio to a T out in the valley.
Okay.
And they called Donnie and they said, Donnie and Joe, come look at this. Donnie recorded it and showed me. You guys were in tears, weren't you?
I couldn't
It
believe
was unbelievable. Here's a
walked in
recording
the
studio,
warehouse,
the same, almost everything. They actually took stuff from the original recording studio and put it in there. And Noah, who's only 16, has been acting since he was a teeny child. I said, well, why, Noah? Why did they just go to the real studio? And he's like, we would, in his UK accent, beautiful accent. He said, Nancy, we would have destroyed it. We need rooms. And he just educated me so much. And my brother also did films for years. And he said, yeah, no, I've seen some stuff destroyed. They don't want to do that, Nancy. So I'm amazed, because every time we see the movie, it is identical to the original. And then they had to tear it down. Yeah. Which is freaky.
And what's cool? Yeah, they did. They had to tear it apart. But on this, we're talking about the realism of this film. The truck, that's my dad's truck. In the film, that's my dad's truck.
When you guys drive after.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the real house.
That's the real house.
Shop,
that's the real deal,
truck.
man.
That's what I.
That's all real.
The real outside of the barn.
All
when you see
real.
the barn, that's the real barn. Yeah.
And it's just that whole thing. I just. I'm glad you feel that way about the film being I don't know the words that you used there. I'm sorry. You were putting the it's a pretty high level for this
legacy.
Area. Yeah,
I was talking about legacy.
Yeah.
Well, I just got to interject? What's cool is his mom and dad are still alive. Father's 93, mother's 91. All his brothers, sisters are here. We're still doing this for a living. We did the singing for it. Originally, I was the singer because it was Jennifer Conley was supposed to play the part. And
really?
then they were 2 years behind on Maverick because of COVID. So because of that, she had to do all this promotional all over with Tom Cruise, so she couldn't take it.
Well, Tom Cruise is a big promo guy.
Yeah.
He goes everywhere doing his
So
promos.
we get the word that Jennifer Connelly couldn't take it, and then Zooey Deschanel was coming to board. Well, half of her career is singing. She's a singer, songwriter, musician.
I got a crush on Jennifer Connelly, so
so did my brother.
It's always cool, but Jennifer Connelly and Rocketeer, the Rocketeer.
I know.
My brother worked with her, and he was sad.
babe.
I know.
Yeah.
When I found out she was going to do it, I was like, because I thought,
I'm like, how does she just still look the same too? I'm like, she's aged like wine.
Well, we were bummed for
gorgeous.
2 reasons. That we liked her too, but I'll be honest with you, when I found out it was
I
Zooey
like Zooey,
Deschanel,
too.
I was like,
Zoe's great.
I think
yes.
she
Zoe's
actually
is-
seems
yeah.
to fit the role better.
yeah.
For Nancy, but
Absolutely.
I'm just saying Jennifer Connelly is a babe.
Well, I gotta say though, Zooey Deschanel,
She's really great.
she is so believable though.
Yeah.
She's extremely believable in her acting. It's just so real. It's
But I
freak?
gotta be honest with you. I do a lot of stuff on stage,
Yeah.
and I'm a little bit, hyper, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that.
yeah.
I'm doing like literally 10 things at one time because it's fun. There's a lot. The way they had her play me was really,
Kind of subdued there, though.
I told Tim, I told Bill, I said, please, Bill, do not have the actress play me and do the tambourine like Tracy from the Partridge Family, because I'm way beyond a chick on stage with the tambourine. You can't do this to me. So I was a little bit more like, ugh. But I had to step back and realize this movie's not about you, Nancy. Chill out.
Yeah.
So, maybe
Well,
there's a part
actually
two.
is, Nancy.
Maybe there's a part two. But Zooey is very talented, and
For sure.
she could have done a lot more. And I didn't feel bad for me. I felt more sorry for her fans. Because before the movie came out, I saw all these fans saying, Zooey, Zooey. They thought she was going to do more, but she was gracious. She knew what she was.
I think she took.
Yeah.
I think from my perspective, she knew her role in the movie, and that was to be a supporting actress. She wasn't. Her role wasn't to be the main character.
No, and it wasn't
so-
supposed to. But I'm saying people. When you put a professional singer, Zooey considers herself a singer first.
Yeah, I seen that she had a
Yeah.
record on the
Yeah.
movie. That
She's had over
she
15
recorded,
records.
right?
She considers herself a singer musician first, then actress. I've seen her talk about this, and
Wow, I didn't know
because
that.
we met her and talked with her. But I saw that on her interview.
Right.
She says, "I consider myself a musician, singer, songwriter first, then an actress." So a lot of the fans were expecting her to be heard more, at least in singing, and so I have to be a little
got
critical. It wasn't for me. I
Yeah.
felt bad for not me or
I
for
see what
her.
you're saying. Yeah.
Not for her, I felt bad, and not for me, I felt bad. I felt bad for her fans that knew Zooey Deschanel, the singer, because my brother didn't.
So you're saying they were hopefully expecting her to be able to sing more in the movie.
My brother has never. My brother saw her twice in concert. Didn't even know she was an actress. I said, "Are you kidding me? You lived in L.A. You've been working in films. How long?" He goes, "Nancy, I only knew her as a singer musician. I didn't know she was an actress." That's what I'm saying.
Got you.
More people expected that she would, but she knew what she was doing, and this film's still good. I'm still grateful that she did it. I love her stuff, So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. She's great. I honestly, though, did not know that she was a singer-songwriter first and foremost before acting, so that's cool to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of also was like, yeah, maybe they could have let her have a few moments of doing some more singing.
Only because
or
the
something.
fans
Well-
of hers came aboard to this movie.
Yeah.
They didn't come for Donnie and Joe Emerson. Seriously, they did for. No, I'm saying a portion, just like
Zoe
Noah's
fans,
fans,
yeah.
just like Noah's fans, just like Jack's fans, just like you're huge on Beau Bridges, and a lot of them. They brought their fans to get to know Donnie and Joe Emerson. Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So you gotta just understand it's a relationship.
It's a balancing act in a
Gotta
film.
respect
We've
the
learned
fans.
it.
That's all I'm saying.
But I don't know if I should say this though. but
Honor the fans, man.
I think I have to. I have to.
No, don't get us
Say
in
it.
trouble here.
I'm not gonna get in trouble.
keep it
But this
on
is
the
a
down low.
podcast, and this is the
Yeah.
backside. This is how I look at it. Okay.
This is-
So I've played with Nancy for 38 years.
39-ish.
Okay. So I know what she's like on stage.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wasn't on set only a couple times. So if I could have had maybe a little more input, I would have changed a couple things that I think would have made the film, to me, really come alive.
Well, tell them what you're going to say.
Okay.
Why Donnie Emerson? Because he kept saying this to me.
Because this
He
would
said
have
this to me after
would have
seeing the
nailed
film.
it in the coffin. This would have done it. See, the division between my brother and I is the fact that it's not that he was a bad player back then. He wasn't that bad. He wasn't. Joe has a different way of playing, and he's very creative in his work. He just really is. He really is. He's got new music coming out. He's doing his thing. Okay. But what I'm saying in the film, I wanted to highlight. I wanted the realism why I gradually started playing with Nancy. Wasn't like that she was a person that was like, oh, it's a handout thing. Nah, I didn't want that. I wanted to show her what she actually can do. Okay? And I think in the film, it could have portrayed that more. I just could give some ideas where, it could have highlighted her playing with other musicians.
The number one question
in her
we get
highlighted
asked,
in her way that she plays.
But say the number one question he gets asked is, why don't you play with Joe anymore? Why don't you play with Joe anymore? I get that. Why doesn't he play with Joe anymore? He gets that asked for years from a lot of people. So a lot of the arrows are kind of towards me at times where they think, because you got married? It wasn't like that. I was a performer before I met him. So he told me, he says, if you ever play with me, if you ever, you cannot just sing with me. You need to learn an instrument. So I learned to play acoustic guitar. I was on tour with him in '99 playing acoustic guitar for like 12 songs. I sung, and then when we went on tour, he says, if you're going to go on tour with me, so he says, if you're going to play with me, you're going to learn an instrument. Well, I learned percussion, I learned congas. I studied.
Yeah.
And I studied with all different teachers from...
Well, that was way back when we were in the
Then
Vegas
I learned
days.
guitar because we started doing this country tour. And then before we went on that tour, he looked at me and says, you're not going on tour with me unless you write songs. So besides our wedding song and the song we wrote before we got... He said, I want you to write even more. So I took 2 weeks and I came up with 2 songs. And I wasn't nervous because I didn't put a lot behind, oh my gosh, I'm a songwriter and I'm going to make it or break it. It was like, okay. And I was relaxed, and I think that's why they came out okay. And when we went to Nashville, I got a lot of respect for them. And Karen Staley, who has won a lot of awards, I mean, amazing, this woman, she asked me to sing at the Bluebird Cafe with one of my songs. And I was like, what? You're not going to ask Donnie? She's like, no, I want you to do it because she heard my song. And I didn't put a lot behind it. So everything with my songwriting was kind of like easy peasy. If people don't like it, I just did it because Donnie let me go on tour with him, Yeah. But I had to earn it. I had to earn it. There was no free. If you were touring with him, if you were playing with him, you had to play, you have to songwrite, you have to work hard. And he always made me step it up, step it up, step it up. And I think that's what he's talking about the movie.
That's what I'm trying to say. You've watched the film a couple times, and without giving the film away for people who never watched it, I just want people to know that there could have been a scene in the film, my opinion, where possibly I walked into the studio, just like I always have, late at night, and hearing her play with other great players going at it big time. Yeah. And I said, oh, sorry, guys, I'm kind of going, you know what I'm saying? Because that's realism.
Well, can I say something?
You know what I'm saying?
Let me say something. Peter Rivera. We haven't even talked about him in this town. Peter Rivera. Motown. Incredible.
Oh my God, the legend.
Rare Earth. He lives here.
He's the legend, man. If I could play like him, I would do this guy.
Peter Rivera.
Peter Rivera. I just want to celebrate.
Okay.
I mean, he has hits like crazy. He lives here in Spokane for years. Incredible drummer. He's still performing on tour.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
He did Woodstock.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
Look him up. Woodstock, everything.
He is the best
Motown.
rock drummer in this town, bar none. There is nobody better than him because he's the legend. He knows what to play. He knows how to play it, and he knows how to make it sound like a record.
From Detroit.
And he's a legend. You know what I'm saying?
He's played in.
He's been at Woodstock. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a freaking doggone legend. Dude.
Yeah, and this guy doesn't fool around at all. So one day he said, Nancy, you could sit in and play congas tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, right. And he's like, what's the problem? I said, yeah, right. He said, if I say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. I'm like, yeah, right. I said, if I show up, I swear if I show up and you tell me you forgot to bring me up, it's really not going to be, it's going to be sad. He says, what's wrong with you? Why would you think I would do that? I said, because people have done that to me, okay? Yeah. And you're Peter Rivera. Woodstock. I've seen you for years. Heard yourself on the radio when I was living in LA.
Rare Earth. He's the singer for Rare Earth.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I literally, I show up and I dressed good and I put the perfume on and I'm looking, I guess I could go on stage. He does. He asks me to come up and I'm playing congas. I'm like, okay, I got to that next step. And he's on drums and he's playing drums and he's singing. I hear the drums stop. This was at the Viking. Mm. And this band he was playing with was very good. I hear the drums stop, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm done. He's kicking me out. He comes up with his microphone and just starts singing the same song, doesn't miss a beat, while I'm just playing congas. And so I'm laying down in the groove, and I'm like, I'm going to die now. I'm going to die, but I'm going to be the happiest I've ever died. And I didn't know what. He felt confident enough to get off the drums. It was probably the best night of my life as a performer, honestly. Because, and I'm sorry, Donnie, because with Donnie, Donnie does make me step it up. He does. But Donnie's still, no matter what, my best friend. Okay. I think he would have given me a bone a little bit if I screwed up. This guy wouldn't have. He has nothing to gain. So I always was so appreciative of him doing that.
And that's great. I
that
think
he
that's
did. And I
awesome.
said, why did you do that? He said,
know?
because you were holding the groove. I said, you actually got off the drums. I'm so grateful for that, because not that I pat myself on the back, that it kind of made me realize I want to step it up even more than that. I want to challenge. If he was willing to give me that, I want to go the next mile after that. Yeah. So what a good man. And Spokane is lucky we have
blessed.
Him here.
I mean, he's
got a good heart too.
He's a great
Christian
guy.
man.
He's a great guy.
Good man. Yeah.
And he never lets it. He's always enthusiastic all the time. He's just always enthusiastic. He's been at the top of the level more than anybody around here. And we're fortunate that he resides here, but he's, we're just very fortunate to have that guy like that.
Peter Rivera.
Rivera.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, where do we go from here?
Man, on tour. Let's
tour.
leave now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think the options are just kind of that's another thing too. Bobby, we were talking up at Rosars. We were talking about some things. What do we do? What do we do to? I mean, it's one thing for us to go out and play, and what we do. We go out and play, but how can we make it where other people can learn what we do and take it, and they can kind of take it and go move and do things for themselves too? You know what I mean?
I think, you know what, I'm going to answer that. I think you don't have to worry about that.
Really?
See, that's what Donnie does. He does. He will take on the world.
I do.
Where
That's
I say,
probably
Donnie,
why I fall
at
apart.
this point with 2 kids, we have a 24-year-old and our daughter, Alvea, and our son, Chance. And I tell Donnie, I said, you don't have to take on everyone.
But I just can't help
You don't, because, brother, you got to breathe. And I think everybody will be fine. I really do. And I think it's so important that I remind him of that, because I know you two have talked, and it's good to help people. But 2 weeks ago, he was suffering from, stress.
I don't want to, the thing is,
I think everybody will be fine. Spokane is stronger than you.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's some powerful people here.
Yeah,
and there's some good venues. Zola is my favorite. I have told people that. I get on the stage of Zola, my absolute favorite. And I've been to Spain, Italy, Korea, Japan. I kid you not, LA. I go on that stage of Zola. I'm staring at it right now. I love the energy. I love the size. I love the decor.
Oh, I love the size.
Now,
of it.
I love the people who have worked there. And that's what I'm saying. We got a good community. I think it'll take care of itself. I really do.
I got to say something. I love the look of it, and I got to shout out to Danny Spaulding, because I'm going to tell you what.
Yay.
Dan has been there for me. He's a guy that makes things happen. He's an artist, a true artist, and I give a shout out to Dan, because he's got a look. He perceives things, and he's fun to play with too. He's a character,
and he's a giver to a lot of the musicians here.
Dan is a giver.
With his recording studio and everything. He's a giver. Yeah. So shout out to Spokaneites. Am I saying it right? Spokaneites.
Yep.
I was born in Los Angeles. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get it right.
Yeah. I think for musicians here, obviously, this movie and your story for both of you, is very inspiring. Having a major Hollywood film based on musicians from Spokane and even from Fruitland, that's amazing. And there's something going on up there, because Alan came from up that way too.
Yeah,
he did.
Trujillo, isn't it Trujillo?
Yeah, he's from Trujillo. Yeah.
But he used to go out to Fruitland at the Bible camp, and he said that
Miles
he
Kennedy
heard
his music.
Yeah, he heard Donnie. He said, I heard Donnie through the field. We don't know when
At
exactly.
Fruitland Bible camp.
Yeah, and there's other guys that have been out. That's the thing. Miles Kennedy's. I know all these cousins out there and everything. We're all out there. So there is something there's something about it. I don't know what it is.
What I found interesting too is like in the film you talk about this, and in the article by Stephen Kurtz.
Yeah.
Is that it, how you say his last name?
Yeah, Kurtz. Yeah.
Kurtz.
Yeah, it's kind of different. Yeah.
I met him, but he did a Q&A, but he did the New York Times with them. So,
right.
Yeah.
He did a article for the New York Times, but you guys were talking about how you didn't really have any outside influence at the time. You didn't have TV really. You didn't really have.
Well, we
radio.
had a television set, but we only had like
couple
two stations that came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And you didn't really have radio growing up necessarily, right?
I had a radio. We had radio and stuff, but back then, you know,
it was in the tractor, wasn't it?
Yeah. I listened to a lot of the music in the tractor because my dad had bought a radio when I was, or not a radio, sorry, a tractor that had a radio in it, and that's when I could really dive in and listen to the productions of these artists, you know. Really kind of go away while I was working on the farm. Mm-hmm. And so, but by and large, we never really had record player or anything. We didn't have anything you know, my brother had bought some 8-track tapes from, I forget what they call that, where they buy them, you know, online, or, you know,
online back then,
or in the magazines, you know,
mail order,
cause
the commercials on TV.
I remember this one, 8-track. It had like 10 artists on it, everybody from Brothers Johnson to Elton John to on this one 8-track, and we wore it out driving in our car. You know, just listen to all these different, you know, people. You know, it was like, yeah. So we didn't really have anything to listen to per se. Mm-hmm. No. So, yeah.
So do you like the original Dreamin Wild? Those influences of that sound, was that something you just kind of played around and developed yourself? I mean, how like?
Well, I was a big David Gates fan, and from Bread. So you can hear a piece in there that's kind of a David Bread vibe. And then I was a Wild Cherry, you know, fan, you know, play that funky music, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, I guess probably the soul side of stuff came from probably, I'm thinking it had to come from Marvin Gaye, because I was listening to Marvin Gaye as well, you know, but that my stuff was kind of it was weird. I was kind of behind the times, I suppose, you know, because I wasn't influenced, and that's why when you see the jumpsuits, I'm like Elvis reincarnated.
Right. Yeah,
you know,
which is legendary too.
He still has the jumpsuit, awesome. And they still have it. Him and Joe still have their jumpsuits.
So we're like 10 years behind. You
people
know?
ask that question too. Where is the jumpsuits?
So
yeah, and they remade them for the movie. Those are.
But
remakes.
We wrote so many songs back then that Dreamin Wild, that's just a glimpse of the music. In fact, we're doing songs that were never even recorded. We're doing them live together, her and I. Nice songs, you know, that we're like, you know, we're doing them, and they were never released.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and again, it's a October West Coast, but we're also going to do a show in Portland November 8th too. They added that, and we might add some more too, but it starts October 8th. And again, can we shout out our social media?
Yeah, and I'll put it in the show notes too, so everybody can find it easy too.
Instagram, Nancy Sophia Emerson, Donnie Emerson baby is his. We have Facebook, same name except for Donnie Emerson on Facebook. Yeah. But anyway, because we have all the information, and we'll keep adding on all the information
too, where, you know, people can just link over and take your handle and put it in. I'll put your I'll put the tour dates as well and the information, so people can find that real quick. Yeah. We're at an hour and a half. This is usually where I like to wrap it up.
I was just looking at my car, my meter. I put 2 hours in it, but I didn't. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think we got.
I'm okay. I think I'm fine.
We
can close it up.
I'm on camera, but he can cut it probably.
We'll close it up real quick. And then
No, it's all good. I was just worried. I was thinking, no, God, look at me. Oh God,
no,
there
good.
goes
This
the
is a
boot,
good
man.
ending.
Massage my feet.
I know.
See,
It's funny because I just turn on.
people.
That's how real. See, I'm a real guy. I'm a real guy.
Real.
Bobby, I turn. Oh God, there goes the cop.
Bobby, this is awesome. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I really, really,
thank
really
you.
do. I mean, it takes a community. It takes a village. I mean, I'm so about. I think that's part of my personality. I come from theater. You were on stage with 30, 40 people. You look down the orchestra. I mean, it was never about you or, I just always love that. So every time I do something, even though it's Donnie and I, there's so many people behind us, you doing this gives me more energy. It does. So thank you.
It's an honor to have you both on. I mean, it's I've always been big into movies, so like watching a movie about your life last night and then having you here today is really cool for me to be able to be a part of this as well. So
thank you.
Well, I guess I tell you, I'm glad you say that, but it is ironic because, like I said, his parents are still alive. All his brothers, sisters are here. We're still doing this. We did the music for it. We wrote the original song for it. So I'm thinking, Donnie, what are the odds of, like, usually somebody has passed away, or and then they do a film, or they don't do it for a living anymore. We're still doing this for a living. We're married for almost 40 years. So it's like everything's still there. It's kind of, we're pretty fortunate because this is something that's just continuously going on. And everybody got to see this film, all his family and my family. Yeah. My mother's alive. My brothers and sisters, I have 3 brothers, 3 sisters. They saw it. It's pretty incredible. And like I said, and we're still doing this for a living. And then they had us do the singing and the playing and then the original song. I thought, I don't know if there's ever been a film where that much involvement was done unless somebody is the one that produced, wrote, financed. Yeah. Then that's different. Yeah, that's not what happened. Like that. The phone just rang. I always joke around and say I think we were watching Gilligan's Island when the phone rang. But we were at home watching something on TV when the phone rang and said, "Hey, we heard about the story at the new." He told me, he said, "Nancy, Jim Burke and Bill Pohlad, who did Brokeback Mountain, 12 Years Slave, Love and Mercy, all these, the Green Book. These guys have Oscar after Oscars. I looked at all their film, Into the Wild. I was like, are you kidding me? And he said, they're thinking about doing a movie. I'm like, about what? He's like, I guess me and my family, and you might be in it. I'm like, okay, can we finish watching Gilligan's Island now? And I said, I'll believe it when they land foot. So 24 hours before they landed foot. That is when I took it serious, because there were 2 other producers that did approach them saying, hey, we heard about the New York Times, the LA Times, the article, and the Guardian, the Mojo, right? And we're thinking about doing a film, but they never finished because either they didn't get the finances or someone else was an interest. We don't know. We'll never know. So when these guys did this, they came to Spokane for 23 hours. Donnie picked them up. He picked them up at the airport. They went out to Fruitland. They went out to Hunters. They came to Spokane. We had breakfast at the Davenport Hotel. They went back on their airplane, and the rest is history. Next thing you know, Casey's, getting a hold of them.
Now we got a major movie.
It was bizarre.
Everybody, go check it out.
Yeah.
Go support.
Check it out.
Donnie and Nancy Sophia Emerson.
And the new release.
Yeah.
This
is and be looking out for their tour. If you're in one of their cities while they're on tour, I'll post those dates for y'all. This is City Chapters Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby J. This chapter is with Donnie and Nancy Sophia Emerson. Shout out Spokane for sponsoring and producing my show. Till next time.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.